A year ago, I came to you shortly after being elected as your mayor and shared with you my goals for moving Auburn forward. I laid out a set of priorities that are acting as our blueprint for the changing face of our city and our financial decisions. I asked you all to hold me accountable for them. I told you that I do not consider myself a politician because it denotes something negative to many people, and I told you that my goal was to change what your local government feels like, and I hoped that when we came back together in a year that we would be proud of our accomplishments. I'm hoping in the last year that you noticed some of those things. A lot of things we did over the last year may not have been readily visible to you. That's because I cannot expect our organization to be exceptional until we start from the inside first. We have instituted the RAA principles in the workplace. RAA stands for Responsibility, Accountability, and Authority. This means that if we give our employees the responsibility and we make them accountable, then we better give them the authority to do the job. I also encourage our team to have fun at work. And it definitely doesn't mean that we don't take our job seriously, but we can enjoy the time while we are doing it. I can honestly say that I am happy with the progress we made. Happy, but not satisfied. We will always celebrate our wins, look at areas where we can better improve, and continue to seek to improve. Now I would like to tell you a little bit about how we did, and then talk about what we will be aiming for in 2015. I'm here today at the White River Valley Museum. It's a great place to understand our history, but it also gives us a wonderful opportunity to continue to discuss our future. In the last year, you may have heard me more than once use the phrase, One Auburn. Essentially, this is the foundation for everything we do because it's about all of us. Not just me as your mayor, or the city council members, or our government staff. It's about all of us. The nearly 75,000 people that are calling Auburn home. The thousands of people that visit our city for entertainment, shopping, or various other reasons. Some of them may be our guests. We are one of 281 cities in Washington and over 20,000 in the United States. Auburn is the 15th largest city in Washington. We encompass about 30 square miles within our borders, and we're part of 2 counties. These aren't just numbers. These numbers represent people, families. They represent us. The decisions we make and the policies we create have to be for the people, for you, the people of Auburn, those of us that live and thrive right here. And we have to work together to do it. We need to work together to find a way to make our city what it can become because of our many varied backgrounds. We are making Auburn the place where our veterans and their families are welcomed with open arms. We have many faiths in Auburn, and we engage with our houses of worship often on how we can all work together. We will continue to enhance our current partnerships and develop new ones. We must work together to reduce crime and increase our peace of mind, to ensure that our families have enough food in their homes, to support our local businesses and bring in more. We have to find a way to fund road improvements, and we have to find a way to do this together. One Auburn represents an intentional effort here at home, every day with the people from many cultures who are increasingly making Auburn their home. We're also working to develop opportunities for exchange, programming, and events that celebrate our individual history while imagining our collective future. We can build a better city, and we can build it together. We can do these things with the construction of our new teen and community centers. We can do this by opening up our data to you to provide more transparency into our business practices, by increasing accessibility to the public process so more voices can be heard as we work through issues, by forging new and stronger partnerships to keep public health in Auburn open, by finding a sustained method of funds for our roads and streets, and more than anything, we need to hear from you. We need to hear from you a lot. You hear from us all the time, but often it's after a decision has been made. That ends now. We're going to continue to use social media, direct mailings, and other mediums to get information to you like we always have. But when it comes to the decisions we need to make about the business of our city, it's time for everyone to speak up. Tell us what you think. Tell us when you think we're wrong, but please don't forget to tell us when you think we're doing it right too. Take ownership of Auburn. Do it in the way you live each day, do it in the way you choose to spend your money, and do it by taking an active part in what we're doing. We will do our part to make it easier for you to do that. Let's talk about our most complicated issue: sustainable funding to repair and maintain our local streets and arterials. We want this as much as you do, I promise. I understand that it's a very high priority for everyone out there. We've heard you loud and clear. And it's a high priority for me too. I also understand you're tired of hearing why we aren't doing as much as you want us to do. You're tired of hearing we don't have enough money, and you're tired of spilling your coffee on your commute because of a pothole. I am too. Dry cleaning is expensive. All right, so let me see if I can put this in perspective for you. Right now, I'm standing in a pothole on one of our residential streets. It would be nice if I could blink my eyes or twitch my nose and make it go away and poof, it's fixed. But that's not the real world. So, here we are at 8th Street Southeast, where we completed a street improvement project last year. The project ran roughly 5 blocks, or about 1/3 of a mile. The project included reconstruction of pavement, curb, gutters, sidewalks, and replacement of a deteriorated water line, sewer line, and storm drainage improvements. The total project cost was over $1 million. $1 million for not even a half mile of road. So now when we consider the large projects on our major high traffic corridors, where we identified over 30 miles of roadway that need major work, these projects are estimated to cost nearly $60 million. I know you don't want to hear it, but we don't have that kind of money just sitting around. So what we do is we send our staff out to find the money for our projects through grants, allocations from state committees, and other sources. These grants are highly competitive and require a significant amount of staff time to submit. And then we wait. If we're some of the lucky few to receive funds, then we can do a project. If not, then it waits and we provide bare bones maintenance to try and preserve the road until we can perform the level of work that is actually needed. Believe me, I understand. As your mayor, I drive these roads every day. It's important that I get to and from my important meetings looking and feeling my very best. And sometimes that's not easy to do while trying to dodge potholes or navigate uneven roadways.
You all ready? You got what you need?
I do.
Looking good, Mayor. Come on, let's go.
All right. So, what happened? The short story is that starting in about the year 2000, we saw some major changes in our state funding sources through some voter-approved initiatives. When the $30 car tab initiative passed, it stopped immediately millions of dollars of annual funding that Auburn received from the state of Washington for transportation and roads. It was a given. It was sustainable. And now 15 years later, we all see the result of that revenue loss. Oh, believe me, I was right there with you back then. It sounded like a great idea at the time. But now our 216 miles of centerline paved roads have been deteriorating since. So, what can I tell you? We want to do more, but we can't because we don't have enough money, and there's a double tall macchiato stand on my floorboards to prove it. Not what you wanted to hear, I know, but it's the truth. So here is what we need. We need the state legislature to pass a transportation package. This is of vital importance to our region. But we also have to remember that most of that money will not go to cities for local road improvements. We need to continue to seek grant money to pay our road projects. Right now, that is a majority of the funding we receive for our projects. The most important thing we need to do is have a serious discussion about what kind of funding package we can put together. Yes, I said we. It's going to take some work from me and our team to continue to prioritize our spending, to allocate more funds to our roads, and to continue to attract successful businesses to Auburn to expand our tax base. It's going to take some work from you, our citizens, to help us expand our sales tax revenue by spending more of your money in Auburn. And I might as well say it now. It might take a new tax or fee to fund those projects. None of these things are easy, but all of these options need to be a part of a discussion that we have to find the most effective solution. I will say it here, and I will continue to say it. I need you to be part of the conversation. I need you to be willing to face the tough decisions with me so that your city council, city staff, and I can really say that the ownership of our decisions is mutual. That many voices were heard, and that we arrived at our solutions together. Can we do that? I also told you that I intended to disrupt the status quo of government. This is not to say that government and our way of doing business was wrong or bad. I was a part of it for 10 years before I became your mayor. The longer I was on city council, the more I thought that we could do better, be more efficient. After taking office, I suggested to the city council that we examine how we do business. One change that was suggested was doing away with the committee system and moving to a study session format. This might not seem earth-shaking, but what it will do is help us to have better discussions, shorter times between consideration and voting, and ultimately get the business of the city done with less bureaucracy. Less bureaucracy in government? If that isn't disrupting status quo, I don't know what is. As we move forward, we will continue to refine our processes because we know that the only constant is change, and we will either keep up or fall behind, and I'm really not very interested in the latter for Auburn. We also aim to change the way that your government feels. One way we can do that is through technology. We would be remiss if we did not leverage technology to reach you and allow you to reach us. In 2013, the Pew Research Center released a report that 70% of American adults have a high-speed broadband connection in their home. They also note that in January 2014, 87% of Americans use the internet, 90% have a cell phone, and 58% have a smartphone. Of those cell phone users, over half receive email on their phones, and 60% of them access the internet on their cell phones. What this information means to us is that the way we deliver information and interact with you needs to not only be available on the internet, it needs to be available to you on multiple platforms, your computers, cell phones, and mobile devices, which is one of the reasons we began live streaming our meetings on our website. No longer is it necessary for us to expect people to attend our meetings in order to know what's going on. We would love it if you did, but increasing accessibility is our primary goal. I don't have preference for how you get involved with our conversations. I just want you to do it. So tune in on the internet, join our online discussions, send us emails. Now, this doesn't mean we don't value low tech too. Letters and phone calls are always welcome. Another important way we can change how government feels is to open up our data so that you know how the business of the city is being done. Our IT department has been working closely with other departments to create an open data portal on our website. The platform is being built in partnership with Socrata, a Seattle-based company that has been leading the way with open data platforms nationwide. With their help, we will be posting the city's financial transactions, crime statistics, police reports, and other relevant information for you. We will be opening up the city's data to achieve important goals, make it easier for citizens to access important information, and secondly, to reduce staff time on public records requests with the ability to direct requesters to the 24/7 availability of our most commonly requested items. There is no reason that we should make the people's information difficult to access or expensive to obtain. It's yours, and you deserve to have easy access to it. You've heard me say numerous times already that I need to hear more from you, and I mean it. We're setting an aggressive goal to increase citizen engagement. While we've made an admirable start to engage and seek broader involvement from the public through the use of social networks, having more public meetings, and conducting surveys, we need to get serious about really having a conversation. While I've enjoyed hearing from many of you on our social networks, like this recent message, whoever came up with the traffic control plan for M Street project is not a smart person. Whoever approved it needs to find a new profession. I also appreciated this. We all have heard about going green, right? I've lived in Auburn for almost 16 years, and I've always wondered why Auburn's recycled trash cans are blue and not green. Think about it. Why not green for recycle? And then this. I don't think there are enough road crews screwing up traffic. Please endeavor to make my commute more miserable. While we truly do appreciate people letting us know how they feel and enjoy interacting with everyone on our social networks, and we'll continue to do so. We're going to step up our game so that we can have better conversations with you about the future of our city. This year, we will be using a web-based platform to gain more relevant and actionable feedback from the public called Open City Hall, one of the leading online citizen engagement services. We are going to be asking you some serious questions. Questions on how we spend your money or what kind of policies we need to adopt. It's important that we hear from you, and I am challenging you now to commit to being a part of the conversation to shape your city. It goes beyond making a vote in November every few years. We need to be held accountable. We need to hear from the public often on how we're doing and where we need to improve. But also, don't hold back on the compliments either. We're all human, and we can stand a kind word every now and then. In our budget, public safety is our largest line item, as it should be, but it's still not enough. We need to work together to take back our streets. I'm not naive enough to think there is no crime in Auburn. I know there is. I receive daily and weekly reports from the command staff, and I follow the data. Luckily, Auburn does not have the big city problems like Seattle, but if we don't work together or become complacent, we will. Let's resolve to be ever vigilant in our neighborhoods and follow the rule, see something, say something. I know many out there have started block watch programs, but I've heard from our police staff that perhaps they could be more active. There are many neighborhoods that are using social media or other online apps to stay connected and communicate with each other as to the goings-on in your neighborhoods. Keep it up. You are the best set of eyes to know if something is amiss in your area. If you don't report these things, our officers can't help you, and believe me, they want to help. Our police department continues to make changes on how they protect us. This summer, we revived our bike unit to patrol our downtown core and parks. We have about 8 officers that are trained for conducting bike patrols. The effort is to expand our commitment to a safe and family-friendly city, and we are looking at ways to expand this. Last year, we added 9 commissioned and 3 non-commissioned staff to the department, and our city leadership agreed that our first budget priority in adding new staff this year will also be for law enforcement. We should all understand that our police officers respond to about 6,000 calls per month. They are busy without a doubt. This is not to say that we don't want you to call on them, though. If you need our officers, they will be there. Our department uses all resources available to them. We partner with other agencies, and we even utilize 2 canines to fight crime in Auburn. Our police dogs are vital to our operations, and some come to us with some very specialized skills, like drug sniffing or apprehending suspects, or even this.
You wanna go to work? Wanna go find a bad guy? Load up! There, boy.
We are also working with Auburn Downtown Association and the Greater Auburn Area Chamber of Commerce to create a business block watch program to help increase safety. Our police chief continues to reinforce the philosophy that police officers are community members, not the enemy. That's how he has always chosen our officers. They have to be right for Auburn. That's his mantra. He has also encouraged increased use of social media to connect and communicate with citizens, and we are committed to increasing our efforts to connect with you and promote a safer city. When I took office last year, I took personal interest in hearing directly from the Auburn business community. With the help of our economic development manager, Doug Lean, I was able to pay a personal visit to over 20 businesses from across many sectors: retail, manufacturing, service, and technology. The purpose of the meetings was to learn more about the myriad of businesses in Auburn, create an open dialogue between business owners and the city, and to get an answer to one very important question: what can the city do to help you? While responses were wide-ranging, it is the goal of the city to be an advocate for businesses here in Auburn. I intend to continue to find ways to ensure that Auburn's businesses have the best shot at success, and that we continue to attract the kinds of businesses that will make us better. And those things are happening. We're continuing to grow our business assistance programs. Our teams work very hard to welcome new businesses to Auburn. to help them work through our processes so they can get their doors open quickly to serve you. Do you want to know the best way to make sure that Auburn businesses succeed here? It's you. That's right. You're going to continue to hear me encourage and challenge you all to shop Auburn. If you buy it in Auburn, do it. I applaud the Auburn Downtown Association and the Auburn Area Chamber of Commerce for stepping up their efforts to remind us all to buy local. Keeping our money in Auburn is going to be another step toward being able to increase our sales tax revenues. If we can increase our revenues, we increase our general fund. And when we increase our general fund, then we can allocate more money towards the road projects that we have to get done. It's all a group effort. We can't do these things until we all decide we're going to work together to do it. We have so many great businesses here. Let's talk with our wallets and make sure they know you think so too. As you are likely aware, we have a lot of new construction going on in our downtown that we are very excited about. None of this could have happened had we not been very deliberate with how we handled the recession. It was not easy, and very difficult decisions had to be made. There are some of the economic indicators we watch to gauge the strength of our economy, and while we remain cautiously optimistic, we are currently seeing that single-family residential building permits have remained steady, commercial building permits and sales tax revenues are up about 10%, and with the new construction coming this year, we should continue to see strong growth. We also looked into the top 10 employers in Auburn and estimate that they added over 6,200 jobs over the last 2 years. That is a great number. The construction like the Trek building you see behind me, and the second mixed-use development that is set to break ground in March, and the many other new developments we are likely to see in the near future are certainly things that we can be excited about. But we cannot forget the wonderful downtown businesses that helped get us here. We have been working closely with our downtown businesses to ensure their readiness for Auburn's Renaissance as well. In February, we held our first Downtown Business Summit and invited all of our downtown businesses from East Main to West Main, from First to First, and the remaining downtown urban center businesses as well. This summit was led by a renowned urban strategist who gave us some great insight into where we are now and where we can aspire to be. She told us that we're 75% there. We have many of the necessary tools already in place to create a vibrant, active, and successful downtown. Some of those things are an active city staff, an engaged downtown organization, a dynamic chamber of commerce, a great collection of buildings and businesses, and a healthy economy in the greater region. With this in mind, we will continue to provide support to our downtown businesses to ensure their readiness for success. And like everything else I've talked about, much of their success depends on you. Our businesses require your support to keep their doors open. So as you've already heard me say, and I will continue to say it, if you can buy it in Auburn, you should buy it in Auburn. I've thrown a lot at you as we look into 2015, but I don't doubt for a second that I've put anything in front of you that we can't handle. I said earlier that I'm happy but not satisfied with our progress. I imagine that will be a permanent feeling because the work that we have to do doesn't really have a finish line. The only constant is change, and you elected me and your 7 council members to help navigate that process of planning and policy making for future generations. I can tell you with 100% certainty that we are up to the task and ready to lead. We need you with us, though. You need to be with us. I'm not saying you need to agree with us, but if we don't hear your point of view, then our jobs become that much harder. I told you that we're implementing new ways for you to speak up. The City Council has changed the way that we do business so that you can be in front of issues as we work them out. We are increasing the ease of accessibility to our meetings and your data so that you can be educated and informed about the business of the city. So I will again challenge you to join the conversation and join it now. So let's make sure that path we're on in Auburn takes us to a better place together. From the top. Action.
Little audio, cue the mayor.
So, Here we are at H Street Southeast, where we completed a street improvement project last year. Hello, Batman. Curbs, gutters, sidewalks, and sorry.
Take two.
And action. Oh, what will you do? Whoa there. Don't get all crazy and stuff. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. Ha ha.